On this exciting mini-episode, we tie up some loose ends concerning the case of the treacherous toupee. Namely, we address the novel that lies behind the episode despite the based-upon characters label. It's a quick look at Earl Stanley Gardner's 1935 novel, The Case of the Counterfeit Eye. Welcome to the Perry Pod. I'm your humble host, Jonathan Searcy. My purpose here, pretty simple, provide an audio companion to the greatest legal drama in television history, Perry Mason. Every time we meet, I tell you that I'm going to look at the plot of the episode we're covering in that particular episode and compare it to the Earl Stanley Gardner it was based on, if applicable. Well, last time we looked at the first episode of Season 4, The Case of the Treacherous Toupee. Listener Dave Wade rightly pointed out, hey, where was the novel adaptation section in the episode? What Dave was referring to was this. While the episode does not feature the classic in Earl Stanley Gardner's The Case of the ... which we saw many times in Season 1, half the time in Season 2, very little in Season 3. The Case of the Treacherous Toupee is clearly an adaptation. So I'm going to do a little comparison and contrast. We'll get similarities between the TV episode and the novel, and then give you some differences to perhaps whet your appetite for some Gardner fiction. Let's get to it! 5 similarities that let you know the writer of the television episode The Case of the Treacherous Toupee, one Maurice Zimm, clearly based his script on the 1935 novel The Case of the Counterfeit Eye. Number 1, the name of the murder victim, Hartley Bassett, in both of them. Number 2, the wives of the deceased Hartley Bassett, Sybil and Sylvia. Pretty close. Number 3, the defendants' names, we've got 2 Peters. Peter Brunold in the novel, Peter Dawson in the show. There's a clear connection. Number 4, the son of the wife of the dead man, oh, you better believe his name is Dick. And he's not the real son of Hartley Bassett in both novel and episode. And he's married a Bluebeard. Number 5, our murderer, a man named Colmar. He's a secretary in the novel, a bookkeeper in the show, but in both, he's an embezzler. Now, let's talk about the differences between the television episode and the novel. Imagine, if you will, the case of the treacherous toupee this way. Peter Dawson starts the episode by coming into Perry's office and says, I wear a toupee. One of my toupees has been stolen. I expect this toupee to end up as evidence left behind connecting me to a crime, possibly murder. Can you help me? That is the setup of the Case of the Counterfeit Eye, only with a fake eye rather than fake hair. What if Peter Dawson were actually the father of Dick? What if, instead of being the businessman who stays around while Hartley Bassett skips, it was Peter Dawson who left behind his old flame and then had come back? What if Perry made a bunch of fake toupees and started leaving them around so as to throw the police off the trail when a toupee gets found in the hand of a dead man, connecting the crime to Perry's client? What if Perry's deep fake with the Bluebeard wife worked, but instead of an anticlimactic denouement with Colmar's confession coming via Della in the office later, Colmar tries to escape on a plane, and Trag tracks him down, gets shot by Colmar before killing the murderer. Plus, what if this were Hamilton Burger's first case and we got some juicy tete-a-tete between Perry and Ham? Could I interest you in that kind of novel? Well, if you're intrigued, go read The Case of the Counterfeit Eye. It's a lot of fun. Well, thanks to Dave Wade for holding my Perry-Pod feet to the fire. I'm glad I reread the novel and compared it to The Case of the Treacherous Toupee. All things being equal, I think The Counterfeit Eye was better. Until next time, this is Jonathan Searcy saying, keep on walking that Park Avenue beat!